Hi guys, I've had a busy day in the studio today. The sun's just setting, it's getting a little bit dark, but Procreate 5 is here and I've had a bit of a play around. As you see at the picture, I got a little bit carried away because there's so many cool brushes and the new brush engine is uber cool. The colour picker, you can now slide it all over the screen to your heart's content. And I just couldn't put it down. So let's just see how excited I got. So Procreate 5 is here. I've had a quick play around with it. There are a few things that interest me, a lot of things that don't. But the first thing, let's have a look at the colour picker. If I open up the colour picker, we have a little bar across the top and I can drag that bar and I've got a colour picker that stays on the screen. That's really useful. I like that. And I can also, we've got a few options along here that we can select the sort of the colour circle. And then we have this, going right to the other side, I can choose palettes. And you see, I've got my Hockney palette selected there. So if you go into, if I close that, or I suppose, can I take it back up to there? I've got to close it, open up again. Whatever palette is your default palette. So say I choose Klimt as my palette, make that the default one. When I, drag the palette back onto the screen, the Klimt becomes the one that I can use. So that's really useful. If I want to work with a limited palette, I can move that around with my finger as well. That's cool. So we've also got one or two other options. I can use a square colour picker if that's what you prefer. I quite like the circle one. And then the other option is we can choose complementary colours. If I click on the word split complementary, I can just use colours that are opposite each other on the colour wheel to work with. I can use analogous colours, analogous and next to each other on the colour wheel. Triadic gives me 3 colours to work, and tetratic gives me 4 colours to choose from. I quite like the triadic selection. I don't know what that is. Let's click on that one. Oh, so I can use hexadecimal colours. So if I want to use a red, I know for a fact that red is FF0000. I've got a red colour, so I can use web-based colours typing in there, but I want to use the colour wheel. And so that's the first thing, that's the colours. Love that, really love that. And I'm going to put that triadic colour picker on because I can choose a colour scheme. And then the reason I haven't painted anything is because the brush I'm going to use, let me show you the brush. There are a ton of new brushes available in Procreate 5. Apparently 1 or 2 are missing from the older sets, but there's all these new ones. One I like is Wildlife. That gives you a kind of effect that's a bit like a watercolour, where the colour has seeped to the edge of the wet paint. That gives a really nice effect, so I'm going to mess around with that. But the one I want to use today is something called Aurora, and this is in the Artistic Brushes palette. And straight away, when I started using this, I realised that we get like a pointillism type effect. So I had to just quickly go into the brush engine and try and work out how they did it. Everything, so straight away, wow, everything's changed. It's an all new brush engine to play around with. So I'm going to be making lots of brushes to share with everybody. And I wanted to kind of work out how this colour thing changed. So I went to Colour Dynamics. That seemed to be the obvious place to start. And I noticed that the hue on Stamp Colour Jitter was set to 16. So if I set it to none, come out of it, you can see I've pretty much just got a single colour. Go back into it again. There we go. And click on About This Brush. I can reset all the settings. So if you play around with a brush, you can get back to the original. And that should give me the colours. So there's all this new stuff to play around with. But I thought today, just for today, I will do a painting using the Aurora brush and use the colour picker on the screen using a triadic colour scheme. So let's just clear the canvas, and this is the painting I'm going to use that you can see on the screen now. And it's just a bit of a landscape, something really simple. Now, if you work with sort of, say with the blues and a small canvas, you can do this pointillism type painting. So, and the thing I like about it is, if I zoom in, I did a pointillist painting in Critter recently, but the brush strokes were really very clean and almost like circles. These are just so random and dabbed on that I think you could do a really nice pointillism painting with that. But if you change the brush size and push the brush size up, you can get some quite funky effects. So I can, I am finding actually that my pen, I don't know if it needs recalibrating or something. It's not, I've got to be a bit careful when I'm sliding. Oops, that's a bit dark. Let's just clear the screen. I'm still playing with it. Oh no, what have I done? Come on, clear. 3 fingers white, supposed to clear it. There we go. So I'm going to start with this brush. Look how quickly you can get a very painterly effect. And I'm using all 3 these colours from this triadic scale. Or not scale really. Palette is probably a better word. To quickly get on these awesome colour schemes. It's all doing it for me. Look at that. Wow. So Procreate have come back fighting. Still disappointed that there isn't a really good reference image available. If you want to really like colour, you might need to go in to the single colour. I have noticed that it sort of keeps one of the colours as the primary colour from your triadic colours, and then the other 2, even if you select them, I thought they would become the sort of selected colour and become the bigger circle, but they don't. If I make a really big brush, can I? Oh. These colours are getting a bit wacky. Nothing like what we've got in the on the photograph. or the source picture. But, you know, hey, I'm not bothered about that. This is just fun. Still sort of getting abstract colours in there. I can knock the tone down and get a darker colour. That's perhaps a bit too dark. That's it. It's been a while since I've used Procreate, and I'm sort of, that's a bit better. Take the brush size down a little bit now, I think. That kind of wants to be still cloud. Maybe it should be a bit bigger and a bit lighter. Oops, keep doing that. Take it close to this. It is a bit fiddly to use this, I must say. That's better. And now I can come out a bit, go a bit darker. I don't want to be too dark. What a fun brush. Probably change the colours as I'm painting. These have probably moved around a little bit, but you know, it's just an experiment, really. Some of that yellow down this side of the path. Some of the blue in. Bigger brush strokes. Bit of an abstract piece, I must say. So this is where technology just kind of takes over and leads you down an all new route. I get kind of a light grey. Oops. See, it keeps touching. I've got my pen down it there. Right, that's better. I can get in some sort of neutral greys in a little bit. I want to put some whites in a minute, so I don't know how that's going to work. I may have to come out of this mode. Some oranges in. Cool, liking it. Now, if I make the brush smaller, well, first of all, I think I'm going to get this middle brush in. Oh, this is frustrating. I'm going to have a look at recalibrating the pen. I think they could have done with making these icons a little bit further away from the slider, to be honest. Or it could be me sort of sitting at an awkward angle so I can record the video while I'm painting. go. It's got those middle distance brushes in. Now I can go darker, much smaller. What's this going to look like? Oh, too small. You see, if I was being sensible, I would choose another brush. But I don't want to do. I don't want to do that. I want to just work with this one brush. Totally push it. Better. That's better colour. Just sort of guessing these branches. Really, I'm not making them up. And my tree is much bigger than the photograph one. You know, it's all right. Make it even smaller still now. Perhaps that might be just a tad too small. It's better. I'm just wondering how I'm going to get all the twigs in, because there's no way I'm going to paint every single twig. That's just not going to happen. That's kind of giving me a start. I can put a few more indications of trees and branches and things. This is turning into quite an abstract, loose looking piece. I'm going to go light, really light, and put a few in here. Maybe make the brush a bit bigger and a bit lighter. Let's just undo them. Wasn't feeling that at all. It's a bit better. Right, I'm thinking for the brush, for the twigs, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a big brush and I'm going to knock the opacity down. I could create a new layer here actually, and then if I don't like it, it's easy to just delete it. Maybe the opacity is too low there. Oh, and I probably need, let's go for a warm. These colours have changed. Let's just get them back to where. Yeah, that's nice. Notice, see, that's just like put some twigs over the top of my tree. Just saves me having to draw in every single branch. Although I must say they look a little bit more like leaves, maybe. Just get the contrast up a bit. Okay, I've got a few leaves on my tree. I suppose if I'd taken the opacity down, but I can do that on the layer actually now, thinking about it. Can I? Yeah, I can just knock the opacity down, something like that, maybe. That's better. That gives me the effect I want, and then I can continue drawing a few more. Funky kind of painting. Right. darker colours still. Smaller brush. Is that? Yeah, knock the size down a bit. Knock the opacity up to full. Put a few more. That's it. I feel okay about scribbling in a few more twigs now. Wow, it's a bit psychedelic. It's a bit psychedelic, I know. Oops. Lots of adjusting of brush sizes. You can get away with colour a lot if you get the tonal contrast right. So put your highlights in and your lowlights. Shapes begin to appear. The colour doesn't really matter too much. It's just dawned on me, I'm still working on this second layer where I've made the opacity a bit lighter. So I'm going to create another layer. I quite like that. No, you know what? I'm going to go back to that second layer because I kind of like the way the colours are bleeding through. Gives it a glazed look. I can almost put shadows on these then. Looking back some of them brighter colours. Yeah, I like it. Now, I need these highlights in. I'm going to go back to a single colour. Just to... Oops. So to put them in, I do need to go onto my third layer. In fact, what I'm going to do is just going to... I'm trying to clear that layer. I wonder if I touch that, can I clear it? Clear. Yeah, because I didn't want to risk wiping the old painting. I just wanted to get rid of that bit of green there. So now I can start painting in the highlights on the path. Because it was wet and rain, it's been raining. I wanted to sort of get that, maybe even just pop a few highlights in here. Make this brush a bit smaller. Just sort of putting bits of detail in really now. press on harder, you get bigger blobs of colour. I kind of finished this about 10 minutes ago, but I'm just playing, really. You can get it looking very much like a regular brush or a sort of a very soft pencil by just knocking back the size a lot. I can sort of put in some loosely drawn twigs. So it's kind of changing into a sketch now. But that, you know, that's the thing. You can experiment and take something in any direction you want, really. I like the sort of line work that I'm putting on it. Takes it back to a naked tree again. You know what? I think that's it. I think that's good enough. I'm quite happy with that. Get it signed. And that's it. That is trying out Procreate 5 with the new tools. I found the colour picker a little bit tricky. I don't know if my pencil needs calibrating. Love the brushes. Can't wait to mess around with the brush engine, and enjoyed working with the Aurora pencil. So, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a big thumbs up as always is much appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, because I have lots of videos like this and I would love to be sharing them with you. So hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Bye.